Welcome back, everybody. Now, Liguqubele Izulu exhibition by Sethembile Msezane exemplifies the adage that an artist's work must reflect their surroundings. Now, the exhibition examines the artist's mental, spiritual and emotional state during this time, prompting viewers to consider their own emotional and seasonal journeys. Msezane gained a deeper comprehension of these climates that echoed the seasons of her own experience by accepting loss, recognizing anger and meditating through fragility. She joins us now to discuss her new work and what people can anticipate for today at BKhz Gallery in Johannesburg. Sethembile, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Morning, Cynthia.
I'm quite taken by the title of this exhibition, Liguqubele Izulu. It has a deep meaning attached to it, isn't it? Just take us through it.
It does. So this work reflects upon personal challenges that I went through between 2017 to roughly 2021.
Yeah.
We all carry around hurts in our lives, whether it's through our backgrounds or intimate partner experiences, or even loss of a loved one.
Yeah.
For me, it started with the loss of a loved one. And during that time, I had to retreat from society. So ngazila, ngazila. And I didn't actually understand that it was a whole season. But it was through spending time in nature that I started to realize that there are patterns in nature and climates in nature that reflect the human condition. And I was talking really about fragility during this time. And so the exhibition really goes through different kinds of changes, looking at seasons of an overcast season, and looking at the darkness, and that in the darkness you can find the light.
What I quite like about this is the reflection of, our lives. The fact that you go through different seasons in life. If we are a happy season in this particular moment, obviously there'll be sad seasons, there'll be, it goes on and on and on. Hence, it encourages people never to lose hope. And I see that you are more personal in this exhibition. Just take us through the different pieces.
Yes, this is my first exhibition that's deeply personal, so I really struggled in putting it together, and that's why it's taken about 4 or 5 years to put together, because it was just kind of hard to look at my own pain, because my work is mostly political and spiritual, but in this work it amalgamates the two worlds actually, because if we look at how hurts that happen within the home, they actually display themselves in society. And so in the different pieces, I focus mostly on nature. You will see hair that is imbued with paint and snuff, as well as breath work. If you look at the canvas, there are porous little holes in it that I used in blowing onto the canvas. And the hair kind of emulates clouds or even waves. And these are kind of metaphorical symbolisms that I would experience and see when I'd be spending a lot of time at the ocean, and even in the mountains. Yeah,
and I see that you've shared your emotional, your spiritual and your mental state, by bearing it all through this work.
Yes, so the work...
Was that intentional?
It was very, well, actually, no, it wasn't intentional.
Is it?
Because I didn't know this would be a body of work. The work kind of started with a dream, which was a very disturbing dream, that there would be a very dark season that was coming. And this season for me started with the passing of my grandfather. Yeah. And so thereafter, I guess I realized that I needed to reflect upon this in some sort of way. And I started making, not anticipating that this would be a body of work, but then over time it did. And part of the work is also surrender and letting go. So this exhibition in many ways is me letting go of that period and allowing people to reflect upon their own challenges and how they can anticipate speaking to family members and to their loved ones and their friends about the challenges that they undergo. And in so doing, healing can also happen that permeates throughout society.
Okay. And as has been the case, so many, creative artists, whenever they hold an exhibition, there's different stories to be told through that particular pieces of work. And there's various conversations that can be had, or the artists are hoping people will have after viewing that particular piece of work. So as this is purely Sethembile's personal story depicted through the pieces of work, what are you hoping people will start talking about? Will people see themselves through these pieces of work?
Well, I'm hoping that people will actually realize that as people, we're not so far off from nature. We're actually intertwined with nature and the cosmos. Because when you look at the work, you don't see my story. Okay. I know my story, and I mean, the exhibition explains what the story is, but when you look at it, you might see something completely different. But you definitely do see landscapes within it. And what do those landscapes mean for you? And for me, I think the show is about honoring your hurts.
Oh, yes.
How do you honor your hurts in healing yourself?
Sure.
So I would like for people to reflect upon this in viewing this exhibition.
So in short, your work is abstract and people can deduce whatever connotations or
Yes.
meanings that they can always attach to this work, right?
Exactly. These are abstract paintings.
Okay. And this exhibition is opening later on today. And what are you hoping, people will just bask in after viewing it?
I'm hoping that people will think about the binaries or the relationship and marriage between light and darkness. I've asked for my my audiences to come dressed in white.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that they'll think about what that means for them as well. There is going to be a room that has an installation of candles, which is going to take us into like a very meditative space. And so in that room, you will expel and feel whatever you need to.
Okay. Any particular significance to wearing white?
It's open to interpretation.
Open to interpretation. I like that. I like that. All right. Great chatting to you. And share more details just briefly.
So it is opening at 6 p.m. at BKhz. That's at Keys on Miles. And I'm hoping that people will enjoy the exhibition.
All right. Sethembile, lovely chatting to you. Hey?
Thank you, Sethembile.
Thank you. That was Sethembile Msezane taking us through her exhibition happening later on today at the BKhz Gallery in Johannesburg.